friends, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 1 in the league where they play for pay. I'm back. So, anything new happen in the world in the last 6 or 7 months since I talked to you guys? COVID-19 can kiss my ass. What a year. What a year. It started with Kobe Bryant being tragically killed, along with all the other people in the helicopter that day. Then the virus, social distancing, masks, protests, riots, China, politics, no fans at games, college football all over the place. I mean, what a complete mess 2020 has been. An absolute mess. Brady on the Buccaneers? What's going on here? Oh my goodness, it's like that Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire. Remember the end of that song? I can't take it anymore. Who's ready for some football? I know it's going to be different this year. Hopefully they can finish the season. I'm sure they will. You know the NFL. They're all about making money. So they will play no matter what. They'll get these games in. Just like all the other major sports. I don't know if there's going to be some cancellations or whatever. They'll get these games in. You can count on that. There's not going to be fans at the games, or at least most of them. I think the Dolphins are letting in like maybe 20,000 fans. It'll feel like an XFL game. It'll be different for sure. But let's get to it. Great to be back with you guys. I hope you're all right. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a tough year. About a month ago, we had a storm here in New York. I didn't even have power for 2 weeks. No electricity, no hot water, no nothing. I'm sitting here with a mask on, lighting candles. I mean, that's what it's come down to. But I am ready for week number 1. Going to be a different year this year, that's for sure. Looking at the spreads for week 1, think dogs this week. Think dogs. It might be a little easier to win on the road without having to contend with that home crowd. And I noticed the spreads haven't been adjusted. The spreads are kind of like they would be if there was a regular home crowd. I don't see any big difference there. I'm thinking dogs in week 1, and it's gonna be tough to pick these games early. So bet light, because no preseason. They're just being thrown right out there. I mean, you don't know what's going on here. You really don't. And I always say this every year anyway. Start slow. I start slow with the betting. Let's get a feel for things. Let's not go crazy week 1 and be betting 20 games. Let's go slow. But anyway, let's get to pick number 1. Let's go down to the Big Easy. And you already have a monster matchup. Who dat? I said, who dat? As we go down to the Superdome with the New Orleans Saints, a -3.5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady. Tom Brady's on the Buccaneers? I was hoping, and I'm not a New England fan, I was hoping Brady would stay in New England. You wish he would have stayed in New England. I know Buccaneers don't wish that. The Buccaneer fans don't wish that, but you were hoping Brady would stay in New England, kind of like Jeter with the Yankees. You were hoping Brady would finish, his career in New England, but you could see the way it was going last year. You could see in that playoff game against Tennessee, New England couldn't move the ball from here to there. Brady was getting frustrated. So Tom Brady on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he brings Gronkowski with him. At the end of last year, I thought Brady would talk Gronkowski into coming to New England. He brings him down to Tampa. Then they get Fournette from Jacksonville. Tampa Bay's offense was very good last year with Winston. I mean, despite him throwing interceptions all over the place, Tampa Bay's got a really good offense. They're going to score. They got a good pass rush. How good is the back end of their defense going to be? That's going to be the key for Tampa Bay, because I think they're going to score. I think they're going to get a good pass rush going. They got that wild man as the coach. How good is that back end of the defense, like the secondary, going to be? Right? I think Tampa Bay should be a good team. New Orleans, they've been a good, solid team the last few years. Very disappointing the last 2 years. New Orleans getting bounced out a couple times in the playoffs. Lost at home last year, the Vikings. Didn't like the last 2 years New Orleans complaining about the officials. I know they had some gripes, but come on, New Orleans, take care of business. Interesting to see about Drew Brees now. We all love Drew Brees, but he's getting a little long in the tooth now. I didn't think he played all that great in the playoffs last year either. And they have Hill sitting there as the backup. And when he came in the game last year in the playoffs, he looked really good. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the next Steve Young, like Sean Payton says, but he looked pretty good. And by the way, New Orleans also has Winston as their third quarterback. So they got quarterbacks all over the place. Kamara, we'll see about him with the contract situation. He didn't have a great year last year either. He was a little banged up. But we all like Kamara. This is a fascinating matchup. New Orleans at home, -3.5 against Tampa Bay. Now listen, again, I know you guys like to pick games different ways. You like, to pick straight up against the spread. You like money line. Some of you guys like, parlays. Some people like, 16 teasers, 5-team teasers, 14, whatever. I like the 2-team teaser. That to me has been the most successful bet to me over the years. You take 2 teams and you can move the line 6 points either way. To me, I've been very successful that way. You guys pick the way you want. I'm just giving you some suggestions on how to pick each individual game. You match up the games the way you want. To me, the most successful bet I've had, 2-team teaser, 6 points either way. So when I see this spread, New Orleans 3.5 against Tampa Bay, I immediately think move the line to 9.5 in a 2-team teaser and take Tampa Bay. This is one of the best games of the weekend. This is a really good matchup. You have to think it's close. How do you pick this game straight up against the spread? I guarantee if I polled my whole audience, half would pick New Orleans, half would pick Tampa. To me, the best way to play this game is move the line to 9.5 and take Tampa Bay. You have to think they're going to be under that number, Tampa Bay. They're going to be at least in the game, if not win it outright. You have to think this game is coming down to the wire. That's why I like the 2-team teaser. You get 9.5 with Tampa Bay here. Yeah, I know you got to pick another team with it, and ties lose with the 2-team teasers. But I'm telling you, it's the way to go. 9.5 with Tampa Bay, to me, looks like the way to go in this game. So I'm going to move the line to 9.5, and I'm going to take Tampa Bay in a fabulous game. If you're going to watch a game this weekend, this has to be right up there on your list. Tremendous football game. But I'm going to take Tampa, pick number 1, move it to 9.5 in a 2-team teaser. Pick number 2. Let's go to Minnesota for a classic black and blue division matchup with the Minnesota Vikings, a -3 against the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota, of course, has Cousins and the Zimmer combination. I said at the end of last year, I don't think the Cousins at quarterback and Zimmer as the coach combination will get you to the promised land. I think the Vikings are a good team, but I don't think they're a great team. I think they can get some things done, but can they win the Super Bowl? I would say no. I don't think that combination is going to get it done. But anyway, Minnesota always tough at home. Always tough. But again, here we go. No fans in the building. So now it's a lot easier to go on the road and maybe get something done. The home team always feeds off the crowd. The officials can be influenced by the home crowd. So to me, think dogs this week. Think dogs, especially in those 2-team teasers. And most of the NFL games are close. Look at it. Most of the games are close week in and week out. Again, you guys looking at this game against the spread. How do you pick this game? Minnesota -3 against Green Bay. I guarantee you half of you would take Minnesota, half of you would take Green Bay. It's an impossible game to pick against the spread. Even in a money line, it's hard to pick. Throw out the spread. But you go my way, you move the line to 9 and you take Green Bay. That's awfully tasty, isn't it? These two teams always play close games. It's a big rivalry. They've been playing since the beginning of time. Aaron Rodgers, of course, leading the charge for Green Bay. New coach for Green Bay, Matt LaFleur. We'll see how he does. McCarthy goes down to Dallas. By the way, another thing on Green Bay. People don't realize that Green Bay has the most titles when you combine championships and Super Bowls. Everyone thinks that New England and the Steelers, have the most titles. Yes, New England and the Steelers have the most Super Bowls. But, oh, by the way, football was played long before the Super Bowl era. You know, football just didn't start 50-something years ago. They have a whole history before the Super Bowl era. And Green Bay far and away has the most titles when you combine championships and Super Bowls. People forget that. The Giants also have a lot. The Bears have a lot. The Browns won a lot of championships. People forget that. You should not forget that Green Bay has the most championships by a lot. So when everyone says Steelers, New England, have the most Super Bowls, okay, yeah, but what about before the Super Bowl era? Do we forget that? I mean, that's like 100 years from now. Are we going to forget, New England? Come on. Green Bay has the most titles, and I'm not a Green Bay fan. I'm just pointing that out. Green Bay has the most championships. Again, move the line to 9, take Green Bay. I feel much more comfortable that way than picking it any other way. Again, another very good matchup. Saints, Tampa, Minnesota, Green Bay. Those are two really good games to start you off. So that's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go out to Santa Clara, the Bay Area, where the San Francisco 49ers are -7 against the Arizona Cardinals. Niners, of course, have that heartbreaking loss in the Super Bowl, a game they could have won, and probably they think should have won, and then they fell apart the last half of the fourth quarter. But overall, a really fabulous job by the Niners getting to the Super Bowl. They have come a long way from just a couple seasons ago. You expect them to be right there again this year. But again, teams that lose the Super Bowl don't necessarily get back. We've seen that. Look at the Falcons just a few years ago. We thought they were going to be a juggernaut. They were a hair away from beating New England. Look at them the last few years. No guarantee you're going to get back to the promised land. But you have to think the Niners are going to be good. They're at home -7 against Arizona. Arizona, listen, before the season started last year, I thought they were going to be the worst team in football. I really did. In preseason, they looked lost. They actually were respectable at 5-10-1. Now, I know 5-10-1 isn't great, but they were in a lot of games. They actually could have won more games. Kingsbury as coach looked decent. I thought Murray did some good things at quarterback, better than I thought Arizona. They played the Niners tough 2 games as well. I know everyone's going to jump on the Niners here. I'm going to move this line to 13 and take a shot with Arizona. They were in a lot of close games last year. I watched both games against the Niners last year, and they were in both games. So it's a division rival, division game. You know how those games go. Division games are usually always close. I'm going to take a shot here, move it to 13, and take Arizona. They showed me enough that they can at least hang in the game. I'm not going to say they're going to win it outright, but I'm going to take Arizona +13. Now listen, if you like the Niners the other way in the teaser, -1 to win, couldn't argue with you. That's the beauty of the 2-team teaser. You could actually win either way you go. The Niners could win this game by, say, 7 points. And if you take the Niners in a teaser, you win. If you take Arizona in a teaser, you win. But if you took it against the spread, it would be a push. That's the beauty of the teaser. I'm going to take Arizona +13. I think they're going to at least hang in the game. They showed me enough last year that they're going to be competitive. I'll take a shot there with Arizona. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go down to hot Atlanta. With the Seattle Seahawks are -2 against the Atlanta Falcons. You know Seattle. Seattle is one of those teams that is always good. Pete Carroll does a great job with personnel. No matter who they lose, they always seem to come up with a competitive roster. They'll be good again this year. And of course, they got Russell Wilson. Seattle will find a way again to be a very good team. No doubt about that. So Seattle -2 in Atlanta. The Falcons, I just mentioned them. They should have won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Collapsed against New England. Been on a steady decline since. Now last year, they did play a little better at the end of the season. They did add Gurley as a running back. We'll see how much he has left. They did add Fowler as the pass rusher. They still got Matt Ryan. They still got the great Julio Jones. Again, this game, very tough to pick. Seattle coming across the country all the way to Atlanta. Now, you know me. I love home teams getting points, especially if they're decent. I'm not talking about a real horrible team. But I would think Atlanta would be at least competitive. I love pushing that point spread with a teaser. So I'm going to move the line to 8 and take the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to be in this game all the way. I think this game could go either way. If you like Seattle, I couldn't argue with you, but I'm going to take the 8 with Atlanta. These two teams played a few years ago, and it was a very close game. Seattle did win it, but it was close down in Atlanta. I think it'll be that type of game again, so I feel comfortable with Atlanta plus 8 at home to at least hang around. So that's how I would pick number 4. Like I said, think dogs this week. Think dogs. Think those dogs. All right, pick number 5. Another black and blue matchup. Let's go to Detroit. Oh boy. With the Detroit Lions are -3 against the Chicago Bears. By the way, I had to take a retake. Detroit was 3-12-1 last year. I knew they were bad. I didn't realize they were that bad. And here they are out of the gates favored. I mean, they were atrocious last year, Detroit. And Stafford's another one. He's like Phillip Rivers. He has all these big stats and yardage, but then he throws bad interceptions all over the place. Stafford and Rivers, they usually don't get it done in a big spot. But Detroit favored here, -3 against Chicago. Chicago will start Trubisky. Foles is the backup as of now. If Trubisky doesn't play well, expect Foles in there. The Bears were 8-8 last year. They were so-so. I don't know about Trubisky as an elite quarterback. He does some good things, but then he does some bad things. And remember, the Bears passed on Watson. They could have had Mahomes. They took Trubisky. So now there's a lot of pressure on this kid. A lot of pressure. This game, again, now I know I'm repeating myself early here. Go ahead, pick this game with the spread. I guarantee you half of you would take Detroit, half of you would take Chicago. You can't pick this game with the spread. You can't even pick it with the money line. But my way, you move it to 9 with Chicago. Tell me you don't like Chicago at 9. Tell me you don't like Chicago at 9. That, if you're going to play this game, I think that's the way to go. I feel a lot better taking Chicago at 9 than trying to figure this game out, Detroit -3. You start picking these games against these tough spreads, you're probably going to go 8-8. You're probably going to go 8-8, and that's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. 2-team teaser, take your best 2 teams, and away you go. I'm going to take Chicago with the 9. It's got to be close. It's got to be close, this game. Detroit was 3-12-1 last year. 3-12-1, and I know the NFL's year to year, week to week, but I mean, come on. Detroit? Chicago can't hang around? I say they can, if not win the game outright. I'll take Chicago plus 9 in pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from where I am here in New York. With the Pittsburgh Steelers are -6 against the New York Football Giants. This is the early Monday night game. Remember, there's 2 Monday night games to start off the year, early and late game. This is the early game. Giants, of course, it'll all go with their, it'll all be about their young quarterback, how he progresses. He looked pretty good last year. Let's see if he can take another step forward. Steelers, Big Ben, out all of last year. How is he going to be? Is he healthy? Is he going to play well? Juju Smith was out all last year. How is he going to play? Running back, is always banged up. But the Steelers do have a good defense. At the beginning of last year, I thought the Steelers would have an awful defense. Their defense really came into its own. The Steelers had a very good defense last year. If Big Ben is healthy and Juju Smith is healthy and the back can stay healthy, the Steelers can do some good things this year. Now, I know this living in New York. The Steelers never play well in New York, whether it's against the Giants or the Jets. And I'm not saying they never win. They never play great, even against the Jets last year. They didn't play well. They never play well in New York. So, I'm going to move the line to 12 and take the Giants. The Steelers are not a team to blow you out on the road very often. At home, they can blow you out. On the road, the Steelers over, the Tomlin era and the Cowher era very rarely blow teams out on the road. So I'm going to move the line to 12 and take the Giants. I got the Giants at home on Monday night with 12 points. I feel comfortable that way. I really do. I'm not saying the Steelers can't win. Of course they can win. They're favored to win. But I like the Giants with the 12 points. The Steelers never play well in New York. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go up to Foxborough, where the New England Patriots are -7 against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins going with Fitzpatrick. You know Fitzpatrick's deal. He can have some really great games for you, but he's not going to lead you, anywhere. The Dolphins do have Tua. They were able to draft him. We'll see about Tua going forward. I wouldn't expect to see a lot of him. He's coming off that serious injury, but the Dolphins did land Tua. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's the quarterback of the Dolphins' future. I mean, that's where Miami's headed right now. We'll see about that. And then you got New England. Brady goes to Tampa, brings Gronkowski with him. Now you got Cam Newton as the starting quarterback. You got Stidham as the backup. New England's got about 10 players sitting out this year, opting to sit. They got a whole roster's worth of players sitting out. And Cam Newton's got to feel like he got to the party just when it was ending. You ever show up at a great party and it's pretty much over and you're just walking in and everyone's walking out? That's what Cam Newton's got to feel like here. He's got to feel like I showed up to this party a little late. I mean, New England has, what do they have, like 10 guys? And I mean quality starters sitting out this year on top of the Brady thing. Now, I know Belichick is great at plugging in players, but I got to see if he can do this. He made a call to Talib, tried to talk him out of retirement. Talib said, no, he's retired. This is even asking a lot for Belichick to plug in all these holes, to fill in all these holes. I mean, thinking of New England, I was thinking of that Robert Frost poem. And I'm no poetry buff by any means. You guys ever watch the movie The Outsiders? Or read the book, The Outsiders? Very good book, good movie. A lot of stars in there like Tom Cruise, Matt Dillon, Macchio, Swayze. They had them all in there. Good movie, good book. Well, there's a Robert Frost poem in there. And I kind of thought about this with New England. And the poem goes like this. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hoe to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. And that's how I felt about New England. Now, New England was gold for a long time. You're a Patriot fan, you can't complain. And you don't know how the season's going to go. Who knows? They may have a really good season, but you can't complain, New England. Yeah, I know it's hard losing Brady. You would hope he would retire at New England. Didn't work out. New England was gold for a long time, but nothing gold can stay forever. No matter what it is. No matter what, things change. So New England's got their work cut out for them here. Now, listen, I would never have said this a few months ago. I'm going to move the line to 13 and take Miami. New England's got to show me that they can plug in all these holes. They got about 10 guys sitting. They got a new quarterback. This is the division game. Fitzpatrick can get things done for you in Miami. Miami, who looked like they weren't going to win a game at the beginning of last year, actually was competitive most of the year, especially midway through the year. They got competitive. Not saying they're a great team, not saying they're going to win. They were competitive. And this spread has not moved at all. New England opened at 7, and despite all the defections, and despite having no fans in the stands, it stayed at 7. It stayed at 7, and that's what I've been talking about here. They haven't factored in the lack of a home crowd. That's why I like a lot of the dogs this week. Think dogs. Think dogs. And again, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying the comfortable way to play it for me, move it to 13 and take the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to hang around in this game. I know I'm asking for it going against New England in New England, but it's week 1. It's week 1. If I'm ever going to take the Dolphins, it's going to be here. So I'll take Miami plus 13 in a 2-team teaser. I think they're going to be able to hang around in New England. Like I said, Belichick's got to show me that he can plug in all these holes. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. 10 guys opting out, no Brady. And their offense struggled last year. They couldn't move the ball from here to there. I think the Dolphins hang around in this game. I'll take them plus 13. Pick number 8. Let's go up to Buffalo, whoa, Buffalo, whoa, Buffalo, hey, 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 hey. Where the Buffalo Bills are -6.5 against the New York Jets. I think this could be the year where Buffalo overtakes New England. I think this could be the year. I know it's going to be like week 10, and New England's going to be week 9-1, 9-1 somehow. I think, though, this is the year where Buffalo wins the division. They're -6.5 against the Jets. All I heard about in the offseason from the Jets is no one's showing them any respect. Well, Jets, how about you win some games? How about you have a winning season? How about you make the playoffs? I mean, show you some respect. I mean, listen, Jets, if you start off the year 7-2, I'll be sure to show you some respect. But you're not going to get much respect with a losing season every year. I mean, come on, New York Football Jets, give us a break. Now, I looked at the Bills-Jets 2 matchups last year, and both were very close games. So again, I'm going to move the line to 12.5 and take a shot with the Jets. Jets, you want some respect? Cover the number for me in a 2-team teaser. I'm not even asking you to win the game outright up in Buffalo. Just hang around. You want some respect? How about you earn it? But I think, again, a division game, these division games tend to be close. These teams know each other very well. Both games were close last year. I'm going to take the Jets with 12.5. That is pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go down to D.C., where it is now the Washington football team, as they have changed names or will be changing names. I said years ago Washington should go to the Red Tails or the Red Hogs or whatever. You knew this was coming. Philadelphia Eagles -6 in Washington. Eagles did a tremendous job just getting to the playoffs last year. They really battled last year. I mean, they showed a lot of pride last year, Philadelphia, making the playoffs. They really did. Washington, who knows about that? They got the young quarterback. Again, another division game. Philly can be sloppy, especially on the road. Wentz is up and down. Philly's not a team that I think is going to go into Washington or win many road games blowing teams out. They have the capability, Philadelphia. But they're so up and down and sporadic, and they're all over the place. You don't know what you're getting from them week to week. So again, the theme is dogs. Pick those dogs this week. I'm moving the line to 12 and taking Washington. I get Washington at home in a division matchup, and I get 12 points. I like that. I know a lot of people don't, and I know I'm taking some chances with some teams that were bad last year. But all I need them to do is hang around, and it is week 1. And I think the games are all going to be close. The NFL usually is close. So again, when I look at this, I'm taking Washington plus 12. I think it's going to be a close game. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go down to Carolina with the Las Vegas Raiders. I got to get used to saying that. -3 against the Carolina Panthers. Vegas, of course, has a new stadium, a dome stadium. I wish they wouldn't have made it a dome stadium. We got a couple new stadiums this year. Vegas has a dome. And the Chargers and the Rams are playing in a dome also. Although the Chargers and Rams, they have like a see-through top, so it kind of looks outside. But I don't like dome stadiums. I'm like John Madden. What's a dome stadium? Play in the elements. I'd even settle for a retractable dome, but they didn't do that in LA or Vegas. I understand the heat and this and multiple events, blah, blah, blah. Play in the elements. Football was made to be played in the elements. What's this dome stadium? Going back to the Vikings, I wish the Vikings would play outside in the cold weather. I wish Detroit would play outside in the cold weather. Green Bay and Chicago do. Oh, and no one listens to me. So Vegas, -3 against Carolina. We'll see now about Gruden and Carr. And Vegas brought in Witten. That's going to be strange, seeing Witten on Vegas and then on Dallas. Ugh. It's time for Gruden and Carr to start turning the corner here. Time is getting short for Carr, and I like Carr. He's got to start winning some games, and Gruden's got to start turning the corner, and I like Chucky Gruden. He's a character. He's very animated on the sidelines. He has a Super Bowl. He might have had 2 if it wasn't for Vinatieri and the snow and the tuck rule. They got to start making some moves, Vegas. Carolina, they're going with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. Teddy Ballgame did some good things filling in last year. You know, when Breeze was out, we'll see about him as the starter for Carolina. Again, and I'm pounding this into the ground. Move the line to 9 and take Carolina. You get 9 points on the home team. You want to pick this game straight up against the spread? Vegas -3 against Carolina in Carolina. Vegas making that long trip over. How do you pick this game? You don't. If you were picking this game straight up, again, you'd probably throw it out, or half of you would go one way and half of you would go the other way. So to me, the comfortable way to go is push it to 9 in a 2-team teaser. Take Carolina. You got the home field. You got 9 points. Teddy Bridgewater should do some good things. You really trust Vegas on the road? I mean, I know they got talent, but do you really trust them? That's the way I go here in pick number 10. I go Carolina +9. That's pick number 10, and I know so far I've taken all dogs. I feel comfortable with the dogs. And a lot of times during the year, I'll feel more comfortable with favorites. It depends. Right now, I'm feeling the dogs. A lot of home teams are underdog. Again, you don't have to deal with the home fans. I mean, it's week 1. You had no preseason. You don't know what you're getting. To me, I feel more comfortable with the dogs. I just do. That's pick number 10. And again, I'm not saying all these dogs are going to win outright. I'm talking teasers. I'm talking 2-team teasers. Pick number 11, let's go to Baltimore. With the Baltimore Ravens, a -8.5 against the Cleveland Browns, another division matchup. We'll see about Mayfield, how he plays this year for Cleveland. Baltimore had that spectacular regular season last year, and then in the playoffs against Tennessee, they went boom. That was the second year in a row. Jackson didn't play all that great in the playoffs. But again, the Ravens are like Seattle. They're always going to put together a good team. Very good with personnel, well coached, good organization, good front offices. You have to think the Ravens are going to be right there contending again this year. But again, this is a division matchup, 8.5 points. Now, I moved this line to 14.5. I'm feeling pretty good. Cleveland actually beat Baltimore in Baltimore last year. And, 14.5 points, that's a bundle in week 1 for a division matchup. And I know a lot of you will go Baltimore -2 in a 2-team teaser here. That's fine. But I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be closer than most people think. So I'm going to go +14.5 with Cleveland. I like Cleveland here. I'm sorry. I like the dogs. I like the dogs this week. Most of them. I'll throw in a couple favorites coming up. I like most of the dogs, especially in the 2-team teaser. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go down to Jacksonville. With the Indianapolis Colts, a -8 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville basically has lost so many players. Mass exodus for Jacksonville. Everyone's going. They're trading them away. Oh my goodness, what a mess in Jacksonville. Just a few years ago, Jacksonville was a hair away from beating New England with Bortles as quarterback and going to the Super Bowl. They had a tremendous defense, and now look what happened. They're probably the worst team in the NFL. I know Minshew at quarterback. He's an exciting guy. He can get some things done. I don't know if he's your franchise quarterback. You'll find out this year. If he plays well, they'll stick with him. If it's a disaster, they might get the number 1 pick and get Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. That's what you hope for with Jacksonville. Then Jacksonville's got to play a couple of these home games in England. They're all over the place. Indianapolis, they bring in Phillip Rivers from the Chargers. Rivers will start. You knew Rivers was going to start when they brought him over and paid him all that money. Brissett will be the backup. Can Rivers please avoid the interceptions? I mean, my goodness, this guy is just a turnover machine. We know he's got all these passing yardage and everything else, but the turnovers just killed the Chargers. He was snake bitten on the Chargers with all those turnovers. The Chargers found more creative ways to lose than any team in the league the last 10 years. Let's see if Rivers can get it done here in Indianapolis. If not, Brissett will be in. And we don't know about him either. He's up and down. Colts did some nice things last year, the middle of the year. Then they totally fell off the end of the year. Had a lot of injuries. I have to think the Colts are going to be able to handle Jacksonville. If they don't, that's alarming for not only the Colts, but Rivers. I'm going to move the line to 2, and I'm going to take the Colts. There's your first favorite, folks. There it is, your first favorite for all you people that like the favorites. I'm taking the Colts -2. They have to handle Jacksonville. Imagine if Phillip Rivers on a new team, they lose to Jacksonville out of the gate. Ouch! I don't think it's going to happen. I think they rely on that running game, a big offensive line the Colts have. They can push people around. I think the Colts get it done. I think Jacksonville's going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I like the Colts in a 2-team teaser -2. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13, let's go out to Los Angeles with the Dallas Cowboys. A -3 against the LA Rams. How about them Cowboys? Of course, the Cowboys in the offseason, all you heard about was Prescott and the contract and the contract and the contract. I don't know why Dallas doesn't want to sign Prescott. I know he doesn't play great against bigger teams, but what's your alternative? You have Roger Staubach waiting? Who does Dallas have waiting in the wings at quarterback? To me, Prescott is not the problem. I don't think the offense is the problem. What are they going to get done on defense? I think that's more of the problem. They bring in McCarthy. Some people love him. Some people can't stand him. He does have a Super Bowl with Green Bay. We'll see about Dallas. I would think they'd be good. I would think they'd be the favorite to win that division. I think they're a playoff team. I said that last year, though, too. Then you got the Rams. They'll be moving into their shiny new stadium. I mentioned that. No fans, of course. The Rams are another example. Like the Falcons, a couple years ago, the Rams make the Super Bowl, lose to New England. Goff looked really good. Coach looked really good. Fell back badly last year. Are they going to take another step back? Are they going to move forward? Are they going to stand pat? No guarantee you're going to be this big juggernaut team for 10 years. The New England Patriots don't come around all that often. So, interesting team to watch this year, the Rams. Everyone loved them 2 years ago, and they really took a step back last year. We'll see about Goff. We'll see about the young coach. Again, I'm going to move the line to 9 and take the Rams. Home field, 9 points. I think it's going to be close. I can't pick this game with the spread, so I feel comfortable that way. The Rams are a very interesting team to watch this year. We'll see. You're going to find a lot about the Rams in week 1. We'll see about them. I'll take them with 9. Say they hang around. That's pick number 13. Pick number 14. This is the late game on Monday night. The Tennessee Titans are -2.5 against the Denver Broncos. Tennessee had that great run last year before falling to Kansas City. They did a tremendous job last year. Tannehill did a great job. Vrabel, the coach, did a lot of good things. They now signed Clowney. That's a very good addition. Denver, I liked a lot about Locke last year, the young quarterback. He showed me some things. We'll see about him. They got Gordon in the backfield. They picked him up. They're always a big-time home team playing in that thin air. They did lose Von Miller. He looks like he's going to be out for the year. That's a big loss. When you lose a big-time pass rusher like that, it's a big loss. It's funny about this spread. Denver opened as a 1.5-point favorite. Then Tennessee signed Clowney, and Von Miller went down for the year. Tennessee then became a 2.5-point favorite. The spread moved 4 points because of those two moves. I'm going to move the line to 8.5 and take Denver. Denver always is a good home team. They're one of the best home teams in the NFL. Playing in that thin air in the mile-high city, they always play well at home. They're a perennial good team at home. I think they can at least hang around. Tennessee's not the type of team to drub you. You know how they're going to play a lot of the big back, a lot of running. You know how they're going to play Tennessee. A very good team, quality team. I don't know if Tennessee's capable of blowing Denver out in Denver, despite Von Miller not being there. I think Denver will be in the game, especially at home. I like Denver plus 8.5 at home. If you can get Denver with points at home, usually take them. I mean, they usually do a good job for you at home. That's pick number 14. Pick number 15. Let's go to the jungle in Cincinnati, where the LA Chargers are -3 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Chargers, of course, bring in Tyrod Taylor to replace Rivers. They got the young quarterback Herbert from Oregon. He'll be there right there. I think they're going with Taylor, the Chargers. Taylor's another one of these guys. He looks great some games, but then will throw for 90 yards the next week. He throws a beautiful long ball, but again, he'll have like 4 touchdowns one game. The next week he'll throw 60 yards. So we'll see about him. The big thing with him and the Chargers, Avoid the interceptions. That's what killed the Chargers. Phillip Rivers in a big spot interception. Stay away from that. The Chargers have talent. I've said that for years. They always have talent, but they always muck up the game. Taylor be one of those game managers. Then you got Cincinnati. They were atrocious last year. They bring in Burrow. They get A.J. Green back. Burrow, of course, was fabulous for LSU. Came out of nowhere, won the Heisman, the national title, won everything. Was spectacular for LSU. Now you're throwing him right into the fire. No preseason games. Rookie quarterback starting week 1 against an NFL quality team, or at least a decent team. We think the Chargers are at least decent, right? That's asking a lot for a young rookie quarterback. This isn't LSU anymore. This is the NFL. And all young quarterbacks go through growing pains. I think this is a tough spot. If you're looking money line for any of the games, I would go Chargers. Again, like I mentioned with the Colts, if the Chargers were to lose this game to Cincinnati, that's alarming to me. To me, they got to get off to a good start and got to beat the Bengals. You have to beat the Bengals in week 1. Imagine if the Chargers, got this new stadium, new quarterback. Imagine they lose to Cincinnati in week 1. That's a bad start. They got to avoid that. I think they will avoid it. I think the Chargers are just better. Taylor's a veteran quarterback. I'll go veteran quarterback over the young Burrow. Now, Burrow might be spectacular. This is week 1 with no preseason games. This isn't LSU anymore. This isn't LSU playing Ole Miss. This is the NFL. All quarterbacks go through growing pains when they come up. Asking a lot for Burrow to win his first start here. And Cincinnati was atrocious last year. And by the way, A.J. Green missed the whole year. So I got to go. If you're going money line in any game, I would go Chargers there. That's pick number 15. And pick number 16, this is the Thursday night game. You know I can't stand Thursday night football. I do not like it at all. I can live with the Thanksgiving games because of the tradition. I wish they'd do away with Thursday games. They won't do it because of money. The NFL wants to control another day of the week. They want to control Thursday and Sunday and Monday and later in the year Saturday. I get it. It's all about money. I don't like Thursday night football. I wish the season would start on Sunday. And I don't like the games every Thursday. I don't like it. And if they were to play Thursday, I wish they'd do it more where the teams had more time to prepare. 3 days, the road team's got to travel. You have really no time to prepare. It's just a mess. Now, this game's a little different because it's week 1. We have the Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, at home, -9.5 against the Houston Texans. Long time coming for Kansas City and Andy Reid. They finally get their Super Bowl last year. They have the big comeback and beat the Niners. Mahomes is an absolute stud. The Chiefs are going to be a contender for the next 10 years. I don't know if they're going to win 8 Super Bowls like a lot of people predicted, but they'll be right there for the next decade. So you expect the Chiefs to be, a very, very good team. They're not going to lose many games. They're going to be heavy favorites in a lot of games, too. Then you got the Texans. They're a tough team to figure. I like Watson. He always gives you a chance to win. They got some guys on defense like Watt. They traded away, they gave away their receiver. We'll see how that works out. Not sure, that was the best move either. They're a good team, the Texans. I don't think they're a great team. I think Watson could get you into the playoffs. But they're kind of, I can't figure them out, the Texans. Good team, but not great. That's how I would put the Texans. And that's just because of Watson, really. He really gives you a chance. He keeps you in the games. As far as this game, I'm going to move the line to 15.5 and takes the Texans. Now, I was here last year. I took the Texans in a teaser, and the Texans in the playoff game were up, 24-0 against Kansas City? And with the teaser, they were up some crazy score, like 40-0. And guess what happened? The Chiefs went on one of those red wave runs and just blew them off the field. They basically scored every time they had the ball, ended up not only winning the game, but covering the point spread and the teaser. You figure you're up like 40-0 with the points, with the teaser in a game you're going to win. Didn't happen. Always dangerous going against Kansas City. I do notice, though, these teams that win the Super Bowl, the first game of the year, the next year, they kind of have a little bit of a hangover. Teams can have a Super Bowl hangover, especially week 1. Kansas City won't be able to feed off that big home crowd. I think the Texans can at least hang in the game. Like I said, I think the Texans are a decent team, a good team. Are they a great team? No. Watson always gives you a chance. You got J.J. Watt. I think they'll hang around. I think they'll hang around in this game, maybe closer than people think, so I will take the Texans there, plus 15.5. That is pick number 16. So those are your picks for week number 1. Going forward, I will be with you guys every Tuesday. Not sure about what studio I'm going to be recording from with this whole virus thing. Who knows? I'm going to tell you guys next week where to send your donations. I know some of you asked me about that. We'll be setting that up next week. So there you go. You guys are all set for week number 1. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. Go slow this week. And I will talk to you Tuesday. Great to be back. Take care.